I'd like to ask an existential question, why? Joe Biden was non-compos mentis. He was cognitively challenged when he was nominated, when they cleared the nomination field out. They got rid of Buttigeig, they got rid of Elizabeth Warren, they got rid of Sanders. They all disappeared quickly. That was very risky to do that. They all tell us they did it, but they don't tell us why. Was the idea that they could use him and they could tell Jill, Joe, you get to be president, but we're gonna run it. Even worse than that, they thought this is what we've always been waiting for. This is what Barack Obama said when he wanted a third term and he could phone in a left-wing agenda from his basement. In other words, they saw this as a wonderful opportunity. Use Joe Biden and just have him come in 3 days a week, stumble through stuff, and then push through the most left-wing, nihilistic, destructive, socialist agenda in history. But why? Hello, this is Victor Davis Hanson for the Daily Signal. I'd like to do something a little different in this video, and that is ask an existential question, why? Let's look at the border. Joe Biden over 4 years destroyed it. He defanged Border Patrol and ICE. He stopped the congressionally approved wall. The result was 12 million people came in. They entered illegal, they resided illegally, and we've had 500,000 of them suspected of criminal backgrounds, and almost every day there is a murder or rape. But here's the question. Everybody knows he did it, but nobody asks, why did he do it? Why did you do the most nihilistic thing in the history of the modern presidency? I think we're going to live with this problem for 50 years. But why did he do it? Why did he say you can come in without a COVID vaccination, but we're going to get rid of 8,500 of our U.S. citizens in the military who don't want to be vaccinated? Why did he say that you need a real ID, but you don't if you're an illegal? Why? Was it that he wanted new constituents because the agenda didn't appeal to 51% of the population? Did he think that under early and mail-in voting protocols inaugurated in 2020 that he was going to be able to have these people vote very quickly? Did he want to grow government and then have a bigger entitlement, higher taxes? Did he not believe in borders? Was he a globalist? It was so nihilistic, it was so destructive that we need to know why. Just tell us why you did it. Was it just because you hated half the country and you wanted to destroy it? You hated MAGA, garbage, semi-fascists? Is that it? The same existential is why do all these reporters say now, we were in on the deal, we covered up for Biden, the Biden staff did it, no, the media did it, but they all agree that he was non-compos mentis, he was cognitively challenged when he was nominated, when they cleared the nomination field out. They got rid of Buttigieg, they got rid of Elizabeth Warren, they got rid of Sanders, they all disappeared quickly. And then they used this waxen effigy as a veneer. But why? That was very risky to do that. They all tell us they did it, but they don't tell us why. Was the idea that good old Joe Biden from Scranton had some conservative remnant vestigial aura about him, and then they could use him and they could tell Jill, Joe, you get to be president, but we're going to run it? Or was it was even worse than that? They thought this is what we've always been waiting for. This is what Barack Obama said when he wanted a third term and he could phone in a left-wing agenda from his basement without appearing in public. In other words, it wasn't that they were stuck. They saw this as a wonderful opportunity. Use Joe Biden and just have him come in 3 days a week, stumble through stuff, and then push through the most left-wing, nihilistic, destructive, socialist agenda in history. It really was. If you look at the border and crime and Afghanistan and 2 theater wars and the hyperinflation and the $7 trillion that he borrowed, was that the reason why? Or were they just incompetent? They just didn't know. They were just, I don't know, who are we going to nominate? Oh, Joe's. They didn't think he was that bad. But please don't tell us that you covered it up and think that's a confession sufficient for the American. Tell us why you did it. They never tell us why. So we had all these polls. They were wrong in 2016. They were wrong in 2020. They lost credibility. And then in 2024, they did it again. As I said earlier, the NPR PBS poll of Kamala Harris had her winning 4 points on the night of the election. She lost by 1.5 points. They were 5.5 points off. David Poof, one of the insiders of the Harris campaign said he was kind of amazed that all the polls had her ahead when they're internal polls that have to be accurate because you work from them in your campaign strategy and you pay for it. Not one had her ahead. So why would they risk their reputation and lie again in 2024 and be discredited again and give Rasmussen and Insider Advantage and Trafalgar more and more credibility as the accurate poll? I don't have that answer. Was it because they wanted to gin up momentum? They knew she was going to lose. They thought if they lied, if the Des Moines Register said she was really winning when she lost by 12 points, they'd get more funding. People would say, gee whiz, Trump's going to lose. I don't want to vote. Was that the idea? What was it? Why do they continue to lie? They have to tell us why. It's not enough just to say politics, we want power. What was the strategy to make you do something so egregious to destroy the border and cause so much misery, so egregious to foist somebody who was not in control of his own cognitive powers as president with nuclear codes, so destructive to try to influence a campaign by repeatedly lying that the losing candidate who was losing the whole time was going to win. We just want to know why. Victor Davis Hanson for the Daily Signal. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to the Daily Signal. Please like, share, and subscribe to be notified for more content like this. You can also check out my own website at victorhanson.com and subscribe for exclusive features in addition.